Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've released any other videos, but this is my second video. And my first video was basically explaining the hotels, like the hotel brands out there that I recommend, those I don't recommend, and the ones that might go one or two ways when you're staying at the hotel. So I thought I would sort of continue that and tell you a little more about like the hotels along I-25 only in Colorado. I will be doing other ones like I-70 in Colorado, I-76 in Colorado, and many other states. So and basically what I'm trying to accomplish here is if you're planning on staying in an area that runs along I-25 in Colorado or any of the other areas that I'll be doing soon, I'm basically saving you the reviews for the ones that I recommend you stay at and the ones I'd want you to avoid. And in Colorado, I'm only doing I-25, and on I-25 I'm only doing Colorado. So that's how this is gonna work. So starting from the south, the hotels in Trinidad, Colorado that I want you to stay at would be the La Quinta Inn and Suites by Wyndham Trinidad, the Well Hotel and Tap Room, the Hilton Garden in downtown Trinidad, and then the Super 8 by Wyndham in Trinidad. These are the ones in that best in Trinidad that get good reviews. And most of these I have not stayed at. I have stayed at actually none of these along I-25 in Colorado, but there are going to be a few along I-70. It's a video that I'll be releasing soon. So these are the hotels. If you're going to stay in Trinidad, Colorado, these would be the best ones to stay at. Now the ones to avoid would be the Budget Host, Days Inn and Suites by Wyndham Trinidad, and the Trails End Motel. These are the ones that get the worst reviews. And keep in mind, in Trinidad, I don't cover all the hotels. There's a few more than 7 hotels in Trinidad. These just give you a general idea of which ones to stay at and which ones to avoid and run, don't look back from kind of a thing. In Walsenburg, it's a smaller town than Trinidad, you got the Anchor Motel and the Best Western Rambler. Again, these are the ones that get good reviews and the ones I recommend you stay at. Ones to avoid, I think this is the only one on here I forgot, is the Sands Motel and Apartments. You know that it's going to be a fantastic stay when it has the word apartments in it. And I sort of said this in my last video with the hotel Seagull Select, where some people like enjoy the hotel, enjoy the like accommodations, but like the apartment feel, some people live there long term. They just don't have the general like safety, security, and all that. And if it's a motel, then that sort of spikes it a little bit more. So stay away from the Sands Motel and Apartments. Now in Pueblo, this is a larger town, but arguably I thought I'd find better hotel, like more hotels that I'd recommend you stay at. But the ones that I do recommend you stay at would be the Microtel Inn and Suites by Wyndham Pueblo, the Candlewood Suites by Wyndham Pueblo. Wait, no, not by Wyndham, I'm sorry. I got 4 hours of sleep last night. So the Candlewood Suites Pueblo by IHG. It's not owned by Wyndham. The Wingate by Wyndham Pueblo. There's another Wyndham. The Extended Stay America Premier Suites Pueblo. And I believe those are it. So these are the ones I recommend you stay at. Ones to avoid would be the Hampton Inn Suites Pueblo Southgate. I thought that I wouldn't have any Hiltons ever on the avoid section, but I think there are 2 over here. So you get the Spring Hill Suites by Marriott Pueblo downtown. Again, a higher end Marriott. Like, no, just don't stay here. The Santa Fe Inn and Suites Pueblo, Value Stay Inn and Suites. The Value Stay, I think it is closed now, but I'm not sure. The Comfort Inn and Suites Pueblo, the Days Inn by Wyndham Pueblo, Travel Lodge by Wyndham Pueblo, Quality Inn Suites Pueblo West. The Hampton Inn and Suites Pueblo North is another Hilton. So those are the ones that I'd say don't ever stay at. And the ones in Fountain is just south of Colorado Springs. So the ones I recommend you stay at would be the Microtel Inn Suites by Wyndham Pueblo. No. Again, I got 4 hours of sleep. Microtel Inn Suites by Wyndham Fountain Fort Carson. The ones to avoid would be the Ute Motel and the Fountain Inn. So yeah, and I generally like to stay away from hotels that don't really have a branding, like they're not owned by Wyndham or Choice or Marriott or any of those major ones, because those ones, more or less, you'll find them to be quite sketchy. And then ones in Colorado Springs, this one's going to be big, so sit back, relax, and enjoy your popcorn or something. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Colorado Springs South, I-25 by IHG. Candlewood Suites Building, 7306. This hotel is in the middle of nowhere, but I think it's actually in Fort Carson, but yeah, and I don't understand like building 10306, but it gets good reviews, so yeah. The SCP Colorado Springs Hotel, Hampton Inn Suites Colorado Springs, I-25 South. Okay, finally praising a Hilton. The Home 2 Suites by Hilton, Colorado Springs South. The Antlers and Wyndham Hotel. This is a historic hotel in downtown Colorado Springs. The Hilton Garden Inn, Colorado Springs downtown. Best Western Plus Fillmore Inn and Suites. Extended Stay America Suites, Colorado Springs West. The Best Western Peak Vista Inn and Suites. Hampton Inn, Colorado Springs, I-25 Central. Drury Plaza Hotel, Colorado Springs, near the Air Force Academy. So you have an entirely new slide here. Wood Springs Suites, Colorado Springs North, Air Force Academy. My Place Hotel, Colorado Springs. Hotel Polaris. Extended Stay America Premier Suites, Colorado Springs South. Radisson Hotel, Colorado Springs Airport. Fairfield by Marriott Inn and Suites, Colorado Springs East Ballpark. Hampton Inn, Colorado Springs Northeast. Comfort Suites, Colorado Springs East Medical Center area. Mainstay Suites, Colorado Springs East Medical Center area. And then I believe this is the last one, Hyatt House, Colorado Springs Airport. Okay, I was right. So, I understand that was a lot, but you can, if you want, you could go ahead and like pause the video once I have like an entire slide thing down and just like write them down. So, yeah, if you're looking to stay here in the Colorado Springs area. And the ones to avoid, again, this is going to be another long one, and starting out with one that I really just don't understand. It's a Courtyard. And this is one of the reasons why I don't recommend Courtyard. As I said in the last video, it's just not great. So, Courtyard by Marriott, Colorado Springs South. La Quinta Inn and Suites by Wyndham, Colorado Springs South, AP. Budget Host Inn, Pikes Peak. Motel 6, Colorado Springs Central. In-Town Stays Extended Stay, Colorado Springs, Colorado. That one might be closed. It might not. I haven't drove by it lately. Conno Lodge North Academy. Motel 6, Colorado Springs, Colorado Air Force Academy. And this one is interesting. There used to be an adjoining Studio 6 right next to it. And that Studio 6 is actually pretty good. It would have gone on the stay section of this, but it's now not. It's now I forgot what it is, but it's it's Trailhead Flats, so it's an apartment building now. And again, like what I said with the Seagull Select and the Sands Motel and Apartments in Walsenburg. So yeah. And then Fairfield by Marriott Inn and Suites, Colorado Springs North Air Force Academy. Hometown Studios, Colorado Springs Airport. This is the one owned by Red Roof Inn. Satellite Hotel, Roadway Inn, Colorado Springs Central. Super 8 by Wyndham, Colorado Springs Airport. Days Inn by Wyndham, Colorado Springs Airport. Extended Stay America, Select Suites, Colorado Springs Airport. Springs Inn by Capital O, I-25. So those are the ones that you should generally just run from. Don't ever stay there. And then in Castle Rock, the Best Western Plus Castle Rock. And then the ones to avoid in Castle Rock would be the Rockview Hotel, Castle Rock Downtown, the Hampton Inn, Castle Rock. And then in Lone Tree, we're sort of getting into like the Denver area. Usually when we step in Lone Tree or like drive in Lone Tree, I usually just call it Denver, but it's technically not in the Denver area, but it's sort of like circling it. So you got the stay section will be the Denver Marriott South at Park Meadows, and Lone Tree also houses the Park Meadows Mall, I believe. I believe that's where it is. The True by Hilton at Denver South Park Meadows, Hyatt Place Denver South Park Meadows, and then so there's no avoid section in Lone Tree, but in Meridian there's no stay section. So the avoid ones in Meridian would be the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Inglewood, Denver South, and IHG Hotel, which is weird because Inglewood isn't really that close, so I don't know why. It says Inglewood, but it is in Denver South, so yeah. And then Inverness, really, like, some of the hotels around here don't really care, like, what sort of, like, area they're in. Like in Inverness or Meridian, they don't really say in the name of the hotel what it is, but I'm just gonna have it in there to be on the safe side, because, you know, yeah, I just want the towns to be correct. So the ones to stay would be the Even Hotel, Denver Tech Center, Englewood by IHG. And then in Centennial, so see in whatever that was, Inverness, there's no void section, so yeah. And Centennial wants to stay at Embassy Suites by Hilton, Denver Tech Center, Hampton Inn, Denver Tech Center South, Drury Inn and Suites, Denver near the Tech Center, Staybridge Suites, Denver Tech Center by IHG. And then wants to avoid in Centennial will be the Extended Stay America Select Suites, Denver Tech Center South, Quality Inn, Denver Tech Center. And then in Greenwood Village, again, no one really cares about the name Greenwood Village. It's basically, it's primarily just the tech center. So, wants to stay at be the Spring Hill Suites by Marriott, Denver Tech Center, Sleep in Denver Tech Center, Motel 6, Greenwood Village, Colorado, Denver South Tech Center. Wants to avoid, this one's a long name, like Extended Stay America has these names that just, yeah, they're really ridiculously long. So Extended Stay America Select Suites, Denver Tech Center South, Greenwood Village. In case they mentioned Greenwood Village in that one. Residence Inn by Marriott, Denver Tech Center. Extended Stay America Select Suites, Denver Tech Center Central. And then in Denver, like the actual Denver area, I'm only going along I-25 for this because, again, you got Denver downtown, you got Denver airport, and, like, yeah, so it's just a handful. It's a lot. I'll be doing a few videos just dedicated to, like, the Denver downtown area and the Denver airport. So, it wants to stay near the I-25 area is the Denver Marriott Tech Center, Hampton Inn Suites Denver Tech Center, Doubletree by Hilton, Denver Cherry Creek, Courtyard by Marriott, Denver Tech Center, Hyatt Place, Denver Cherry Creek, Hampton Inn Suites, Denver Spear Boulevard. And wants to avoid in that area would be the Extended Stay America Select Suites, Denver Cherry Creek. In at the Highland, Denver downtown. This one's a recent conversion from a Quality Inn, so I do have high hopes for this one, but from now, just stay clear from that hotel. Fairfield by Marriott Inn and Suites, Denver downtown. Near the North Washington area, it's right north from Denver, like just outside of the Denver area. Again, no one cares about the name North Washington, because no, we're not in WA. But the ones to avoid, and there's no state ones, there's only 2 hotels that I know of in North Washington, and those are the ones, like, don't stay there. So can't help with that too much, because, yeah. So you're probably better off going in the next town north or just staying in Denver. So the ones to avoid here would be a Holiday Inn Express, Denver Central, north by IHG, and the Super 8 by Wyndham, Denver Central. And in Thornton, that's the town north from North Washington. Wants to stay at be the Staybridge Suites, Denver North, Thornton by IHG. Candlewood Suites, Denver North, Thornton by IHG. Practically the same brand. And then the ones to avoid would be the Motel 6, Thornton, Colorado, Denver. Hometown Studios, Denver, Thornton. Baymont by Wyndham, Thornton. Wood Spring Suites, Thornton, North Denver. Now here in Longmont, we've gotten outside of what I like to call the Denver area. Because to me, like, it starts at Lone Tree and then ends at Thornton if you're going, like, south to north. So at Longmont, we got the Hilton Garden in Longmont. Super 8 by Wyndham, Longmont, Twin Peaks. Travelodge by Wyndham, Longmont. And the ones to avoid in Longmont would be the Quality in Longmont. First Interstate Inn, Econo Lodge, Longmont East, Lamplighter Motel, and then Greeley, technically, because, like, it's only a few miles from I-25, and I felt like I just had to put this in here. So if you're staying in Greeley, this is the ones to stay at. Best Western Greeley, Doubletree by Hilton Greeley at Lincoln Park, and the Rainbow Motel. Wants to avoid would be the Country Inn Suites by Radisson, Greeley, Colorado. I don't think I mentioned this, but Radisson is actually owned by the Choice Hotels. So, yeah, just put that out there. And then Fairfield by Marriott Inn and Suites Greeley, Heritage Inn, America's Best Value Inn, Greeley, Evans. Technically, this is in the Evans area. It's a small town just south of Greeley, but, I mean, really, I think there's no difference. The Select Stay Hotel, Roadway Inn Greeley, Greeley University Inn, Quality Inn and Conference Center, Greeley Downtown. Now, this one, as the release of this video, it's about a year or two after being changed from a Clarion Hotel. So, again, there is hope, but from now, run. And the Wood Spring Suites, Greeley. And now in Loveland, we're back in the I-25 area. We got Wingate by Wyndham Loveland, Hawthorne Extended Stay by Wyndham Loveland. Now, if you're going to stay here, you're basically having the same experience at one of these hotels, because both of these Wyndham hotels are in the same building. The Best Western Plus Loveland Inn, Fairfield by Marriott Inn and Suites, Loveland, Fort Collins. Comfort Suites, Loveland. And the ones to avoid in Loveland would be the Candlewood Suites, Loveland by IHG, Quality Inn and Suites, Loveland, Travelodge by Wyndham Loveland, Fort Collins area, Budget Host, just Budget Host, no Loveland thing, so Budget Host. And then in Windsor, there are two hotels in Windsor, and I recommend you stay at those. So you got the American by Wyndham Windsor, Fort Collins, and the Super 8 by Wyndham Windsor. Now, in the Fort Collins area, so this is where I thought the hotels are going to get huge, but really there's not much avoid ones, so I feel like they're doing well, or at least in my memory, but I could be wrong. So we got the stay ones, we got Motel 9, not Motel 6, the La Quinta Inn by Wyndham, Fort Collins, Comfort Inn, Fort Collins North, Fairfield by Marriott Inn and Suites, Fort Collins South, Home 2 Suites by Hilton, Fort Collins, Comfort Suites, Fort Collins near University, Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Fort Collins by IHG, Courtyard by Marriott, Fort Collins, Candlewood Suites, Fort Collins by IHG. Now, what's to avoid in Fort Collins would be the Wood Spring Suites, Fort Collins, America's Best Value Inn and Suites, Fort Collins E at I-25, Quality Inn and Suites, Fort Collins East, Clarion Inn, and again, Quality Inn, the Quality Inn Suites and Clarion Inn, they're the same building. So, yeah, but to me, the Clarion Inn gets worse reviews. So, stay clear of Clarion Inn, El Palomino Motel. And now, in Wellington, this is just north of Fort Collins, and the last town you'll ever see if you're driving an I-25 in Colorado. So this is the last hotel. There's only one hotel in Wellington, and that is Quality Inn Suites Wellington, Fort Collins, and that one gets pretty gnarly reviews. So don't stay there. So yeah. Whoops. There we go. So hope you found this video helpful of knowing like where to stay in around like I-25 in Colorado. So if you find these videos helpful with your stays, please hit subscribe, and I'll be releasing a few more videos shortly. But until then, goodbye, and yeah, peace out.